Good afternoon, Jan.
Michael, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing very well. Let's
Good.
see.
It's good to see you
Good to see
because
you
I
too.
have plenty of questions.
Ah, well, very good.
Yeah, I last week I thought, okay, Alt is almost finished.
Hmm.
I understand it. So this week I continued a little bit further, so much that I started reading chapter 4, but even didn't finish it.
Uh-huh.
Um, Made a little drawing about what I thought was working. Did some experimenting and yeah, I have 17 questions
Oh, good.
and, and nothing is working. Um,
Yep, that is what we do on this channel. We show things that are not
yeah,
working.
no, I think you ship things that do work, but somebody's blowing up the things, and that's me. Um, where do we start with the drawing or with the testing?
uh, yeah, let's go ahead and start with the drawing first.
With the
Yeah,
drawing,
kind of set
okay.
the context.
Um, Wait, that was move the video better text readability. So,
There we go.
do you see that picture?
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot show everything at the same time, but I had some.
Oh my.
Look, this is some of the explanation.
Yeah.
Um, well, let's start here. Wait, there is a laser pointer. Do you see my pointer or
I do.
not at all?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, let's put it. Yeah. So we have the Maui app here,
Mm-hmm.
Jinaga Replicator, and we have the Google OpenID OAuth server.
Mm-hmm.
So that's me.
You look very happy.
Always happy. Always happy doesn't mean I understand it. So the first thing I do, so step one, uh, point A is I click on a login button on Maui.
Yep.
Yeah. So assume there is no login with Google, login, no, just login with Google. I
Mm-hmm.
click on the login button. So from 1A, I go to 1B. 1B, Maui makes contact with the Jinaga replicator.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that process, so that's the A endpoint. The A endpoint is repdevjinaga.com, the replicator ID auth Google.
Yes.
And in A1, and it's 1B, so in that it's an HTTP GET where I pass the following parameters. The
Mm-hmm.
response type is I ask for a code, I give it a client ID,
Mm-hmm.
I give it a redirect URI, a scope, a state, a code challenge, and the code challenge method.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct. That is how you initiate a
Yeah.
authentication code flow with Pixie.
So then the Jinaga replicator, I think it adds the client secret to that request and it passes 1B to 1C, which goes to the Google Authenticator.
Yeah. So one important detail is that the replicator is not itself making that connection to the Google server. Instead, it's sending back a redirect, and in fact, your Maui app is making the connection to the Google server.
Okay. Um, Replicator does a redirect. Um, but that means, so if it is a redirect, that means that the Jinaga replicator is not adding the client secret.
Correct. Not at this point.
Okay, because if it would, then the client secret would be out in the field.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so it does not
Yeah.
do that. What you have there in step 3, the you've got that labeled as refresh token. Um, there is a connection between the replicator and Google, but it happens after the user provides their credentials to Google, and
Yeah.
that's the one that carries the client secret.
Okay. Um, but so why is 1B then going to the replicator and going back? What is the added value of that?
Yeah, the value is that um, that the user ends up on Google sign-in page um, without it's just between the user and Google. There's nobody in between, so the user is providing their credentials directly to Google.
Yeah,
Um,
but
so
because what I was thinking is the following. So 1B is that request to Jinaga Replicator. Then the replicator is passing it to Google, adds the client secret, but apparently that's not the case. The Google is answering in 1D, and the replicator is passing it back in 1E. And
right,
that's a
so
redirect, which goes back to Google to show 1E in 1G the Google login screen to the user.
yeah, so from the redirect forward, so what you've got there with the E, F, and G, that part is correct. It's just that C and D don't happen at this point. Um, so they're so yeah, let's keep going, and when we get to step 3, E and F,
Yeah.
then we can revisit.
Okay. So in 1G, Google is showing the login screen to the user.
Mm-hmm.
So there, the second step starts. I'm filling in my Google login, Google password. I press the OK button. And so that screen or that response goes directly to Google. Doesn't go to my application.
Correct. Yes.
So that's 2B. Then Google replies with another screen, 2C, which Block Maui wants access to your Google account, gives me my account that I'm using, and this will allow Block Maui to see your personal info.
Mm-hmm.
I can deny or allow. That's in the third step, so I click allow. And so that information goes back to Google directly.
Yes.
And then Google, that's also something that I don't really understand, because that's the callback URI. But for me, it's just a reply, because that request is still open.
Mm-hmm.
And so Google is answering back in 3C. And in 3C, it gives me back my authorization code.
Yes. Yes. So it gives that back to you in the form of a redirect. So it's redirecting to your callback URI with the authorization code as a query string parameter.
Yeah. But that redirect URI was that Block Maui callback.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that
So
was that
it's just an
artificial.
instruction to the browser
Yeah.
to hit that endpoint. That endpoint doesn't even have to really exist. It's just an instruction to the
Yeah.
browser to hit that endpoint.
So that information will be caught by the Maui application,
Yes.
and then the Maui application will send it back to the replicator. So the authorization code will go back to the replicator,
Mm-hmm.
3D. 3E authorization code with the client secret goes back to the Google server,
Yes.
and Google replies with an authentication code and a refresh token.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So yeah, 3E and 3F, that's the first time that the Jinaga replicator actually talks to the Google server.
Okay.
Yep.
And with 3C here also comes back an OpenID token.
That is true, yes.
Or not yet.
Oh,
I,
I believe that is true. Is it?
I couldn't really test it because it's not working on my
Oh.
side. So
Yeah.
we'll come to that later.
Yeah,
Um,
it either comes back there or it comes back with 3F. I
yeah,
can't recall which one actually has the OpenID token. Probably 3F. That makes a lot more sense.
yeah, because the Maui app can use my name and my first name.
Yeah,
It would be, yeah.
yeah, and you don't want to to expose any information at all until um, the Jinaga replicator can prove that that it was the one that initiated this conversation in the first place, and it does that using the client secret and the state.
Yeah, and the Pixie code verifier
Yeah, the Pixie code verifier
is
is
in the
how,
in the first.
yeah, that's how the Maui app proves that it initiated the conversation. So yeah,
Yeah,
there are two
if
ways
this
to prove that.
yeah if this doesn't exist,
Hmm.
but wait, in that case, but so if this doesn't exist, and this I click the login. Um, goes to here. It redirects immediately to there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So the replicator has stored something in the meantime. So it basically kicked off that conversation from its point of view. Um, so it's got all that information so that um, when you finally come back with 3D, then it can exchange that token with 3E. So it loads some state to get from 3D to 3E. And so that was the state that was generated between 1B and 1E.
Yeah. Um, no, but I was looking now. You said that 1C and 1D, they don't exist.
Correct.
Yeah, but so I need. Um, okay, so 1F. Wait, I didn't know. So actually, 1C, what I'm doing in 1C is what happens in 1F then.
I think so. Yeah, I saw that you had the OAuth parameters again on 1C down below.
Yeah. So
Yes.
1C was the full request for my authorization token
Hmm.
and my ID token, where I ask for an open ID and a profile scope.
Yes.
But it was sent off by the replicator.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So all those parameters that you've got listed under 1C, those are parameters in 1F, and even though it yeah it has a lot in common with 1B, um, they are a different set. So the set for of parameters for 1B is how the Maui application authenticates with the replicator, and the set for 1F is how the replicator tells the Maui application to authenticate with Google.
Okay.
So you'll
That's
see a
so.
different client ID, for example.
Yeah. But that's perhaps why I got into trouble with Postman. Because the client ID, this client ID in 1F, is the client ID that is generated by Google.
Yes.
And the client ID in 1B is your replicator ID.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely.
And then this 1B, what is the reason?
Yes.
What is the reason for 1B?
Yeah. So the reason for that is that the Jinaga Replicator will save some state. It will take literally the state parameter, and it will persist that. That was just a random parameter that was generated by the Maui app. It will also persist the code challenge. It can't use it yet, but it saves it. Um, and then the other reason for it is that when it redirects to Google, it generates all of the all of the parameters that you're going to be using to authenticate with Google. So that means coming up with its own brand new state parameter, and it's not using Pixies, so there's no code challenge, um, but it's looking up in its own database the Google client ID that you configured, back when you walk through the wizard,
Yeah.
and um, it's uh, it's building a query string that your Maui application can use to do that Google authentication.
Because that was one of my questions. The client ID. We set it up in the Maui app, and
Uh,
we save it.
the only client ID that you set up in the Maui app is the Jinaga Replicator client ID. The Google
Oh,
client ID, you put that into the wizard, and it gets stored in the replicator's database, but it doesn't go um,
okay.
in your Maui app at all.
It would help
Yeah.
if you would call that client ID the replicator client ID, and that one the Google client ID.
Mm-hmm.
Because in I was watching a few of the old videos. Because if you go back, there were a lot of videos on authentication already,
Yeah.
and sometimes I say, but why is he using that value? Sometimes it was the replicator client ID, and sometimes it was the other one.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
All of the query string parameter names are just the standard uh, names. So this is
yeah,
just the OAuth 2 protocol.
because that means so in Google, the pluses are it's generated in that place, or that's the source of truth.
Okay.
But so this is the let's call it Google client ID.
Yeah.
Google, and then in the replicator, um, there we also have in the
Yeah.
this one,
Mm-hmm.
but here it's the replicator
That's the
ID.
replicators. Yeah.
Um, why don't we call it just replicator ID and not client ID?
Um, yeah, I was trying to match the OAuth naming so that it would be a bit more clear when you're configuring your OAuth client. And now using the client for a third
Mm,
meaning, but yeah, when you um, Like for example, if you use Postman in order to set this up, Postman it has a an input box labeled client ID,
Yeah.
and so I wanted the replicator to give you something that was labeled client ID that you knew that you put in that box, um, even though there are two client IDs floating around in the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the one that it outputs to you is the one that you can put in that box. The other one is an input that you only see when you go through the replicator and is giving you step-by-step instructions, and it never gives that back to you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, um, so yeah, I was trying to use standard language, but also keep um, keep things in context. So when you're using the wizard, you're thinking Google. When you are looking um, at the
Postman.
card, then those are the parameters that you use in your app.
Anyway, if anybody
Yeah.
in the future is confused, just watch this video. Okay.
And then they'll be more confused.
But so now the process should be correct.
Yes.
I should just rename that. So this becomes then 1C. The next step is here 1D. Just to make it follow up.
Yeah.
1D, 1E. Like this. And so 1C is a redirect.
Mm-hmm.
Is it correct in this way?
It is, yes.
So let's save that. So perhaps that's the reason that we had some problems with Postman. Wait, let's see then. Postman, because that's on a virtual machine. Let's see if I reduce it to half of the screen. And let's see whether I can share that. Change window. Okay.
There we go.
So Google login. This one is working. But so here, I'm working directly with Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Google endpoint, Google authentication, my client ID, my client secret.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
there in the plain text. Yeah, fortunately it's cropped.
It's not a problem. I will change it. It
But yeah,
doesn't
change
matter.
it after.
Yeah. Just want to have a profile, a state, and so if I send here new one, it takes that one. I say allow, and it works.
Yes, nice.
So that's good. And here he gives the token also in plain. But then not working. So here, what did I do? With Pixie, just a callback. Here I go to the replicator.
Yes.
Yeah. The token for the replicator.
Right, auth/token.
And I think there we go wrong.
Yeah.
This is my client ID from Google.
Yep. So now we can see the full thing.
Because now if I do this, client ID must match the tenant name.
Right. Yes. So
That comes, I think, from the replicator.
it does. Yes.
So if I thought I tried something like that. So that's my replicator ID. I do it like that. Save that. If I say And now it says invalid client.
Okay. Yeah. So you saw it do a redirect. Now you're on Google, and Google is saying invalid client. So, um, so the replicator looked up your Google client ID from its own database, and then it used that to in this redirect. So,
Yeah.
so I think the problem might be in the wizard.
Let's go to that one. Wait, that was dev. Wait, let's change window to this one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the replicator.
Yep. So that client ID that you're seeing there is the authenticator client ID. You'll see that it's the same as the.
Yeah, so I changed it afterwards. Okay, but in the beginning it was not that.
Yeah. So when we go to
Right.
configure Google.
But then I have to. Where was that on Google? Yeah.
Yeah, but you can probably just copy those settings from your other Postman authorization tab
Right.
if you didn't want to open up Google. Either way is fine.
Right. I can.
But Google does show the secret in plain text.
Yeah, but I'm on another
Okay.
screen now. I think authenticate with Google. So Jinaga, that's okay. So this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So that client ID is the one that Google gives you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, I changed. Wait. That was not. I changed the secret, and that was not a purpose.
Ah.
Yeah, this is the correct client ID.
It looks like there's a space in front of it. The selection goes just before the 9. Ah, interesting. Okay.
And why? Wait, why is that? The strange thing is, wait, let me go back to the replicator. I go back here. So here it gives my client ID. You see, that's the
Yep.
KF, that's my replicator ID.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Yep.
say configure Google, I go next.
Mm-hmm.
Client ID, this is my Google client ID.
Yes. Yeah. So the the purpose of the card is to give you the information that you need to configure your app. Um, and so it's going to be the
Okay.
replicator's client ID, which you need for that. The purpose of the
Yeah.
wizard is to connect to Google.
Mm.
So
And
yeah, it's the same
here is
word,
indeed,
but using context.
yeah, and here is indeed the problem. Right, let me see if I copy it back. Why does this space comes from? If I would delete that, I do copy paste.
Ah, they put the space in.
That's
Okay.
strange. Wait, if I just copy paste that to Notepad. That's it's even more funny. Ah,
Hmm. Okay. Well,
okay.
yeah, I can fix that in the UI.
No, is adding a carriage return line feed, I think.
Oh, oh, at the beginning, that's not a space. That's a new
Yeah, it
line.
looks. If I just copy by selection the client ID from the web page of Google,
Mm-hmm.
and I go to Notepad, and I do Control V. No, it's not.
Hmm.
Wait.
Okay. Well, I
Try
can
that
save
again.
other people this headache. I can trim the input, and then they won't even notice.
Now it goes fine. So you delete all this. Now it's okay.
Yeah.
And what's What's different? Let's try it again. Yeah. No idea why, but just let me copy the secret as well, just to be sure that. Okay, we go to next. That was another one here. I put in the callbacks, and sometimes they don't appear in the final screen.
Okay.
Uh,
I think that might be related to the server sent events things that we were talking about. Streaming facts back from feeds, because this is the area in which it's it's trying to get some information to display to you in the card, and there's still a back-end process that's working on that information. So I know that that's the case with the authentication, or I'm sorry, the authorization and distribution rules secret, which is not what you're setting up right now, but that was the part of this interface that I was thinking needs this work that I'm doing right now, but it might actually be impacting this part as well.
Okay. But anyway, now it's, and then another remark: if I press finish, you had the same problem.
Yeah.
You have to wait, and there is no feedback.
Yeah.
And then people start pressing multiple times.
Which fortunately doesn't cause any duplication, but yeah, it should have some feedback on it. What's really happening behind the scenes is that it's updating something inside of Azure Key Vault, and Key Vault is very slow.
Okay.
So I would like to. It might be because I'm still on the the pay-as-you-go plan. Yeah, I haven't. Well, it's the one that's intended for development and for testing. I haven't switched over to a production subscription, so that one might be faster. I don't know, but yeah, there's definitely some work to be done there.
But so this should be all right now. So if we go back, no, it was not this one. If we change the window back to this one. No, it's not that one.
Oh yeah, that's Google. Yeah. Yep, there's your secret. Hi, secret.
I see. Yeah, I will change it later. Which one do I need? This one. That was... So, now if we try that again... It still says no. Invalid client.
Okay. So yeah, we can take a look at the console and see everything that's going back and forth. So yeah, right along the bottom there, you've got, or you can hit the.
If one of here is not working, wait, I'm just gonna move it up a little bit. I can. No, wait. I can say console here. Then clear this and then try that one again. Okay. Just let's. You will close it automatically normally. Anyway, cancel.
Okay. Yeah, so that first get is, I guess, the replicator.
Yeah, so he asked for the authorization code here. So this goes to the replicator.
And then it responds with a redirect. And so that
Yeah.
accountsgoogle.com is the address of the redirect.
And here the client ID is indeed the Google.
Yeah, but
You see it here.
it looks like it still starts with a special character. I see a %2.
Yeah,
8?
20, which is a
Oh, 20.
space.
Okay, yeah. So it starts with this. Huh, okay. Why is it starting with a space when we've already fixed that? That is, yeah, that does appear to be a bug in the replicator as a service, that it's not updating the database.
With some, wait, let me try again. If I say configure Google, no, what he shows me here is without space now.
Okay. Okay, so it's been...
If I do finish again, so I continued until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Let's clear it here and try again. No. Same stuff happening, and yeah, we have again the $20 in front of it.
Okay, so I am going to see if I can find something happening in Azure, because this is definitely beyond the user error portion, and this is clearly into
Because this authentication is not implemented in the replicator source code on GitHub.
The authentication. Oh, correct. Yes. So, yeah.
I didn't look into that one.
Yeah, on GitHub, the public repositories are the open source repositories. So, the open source Jinaga server does not have the authentication components in it. The idea being that you're going to be using Jinaga server if you are writing your own node application, and then you're going to be using your own authentication. So yeah, this code is in the private repository for the replicator as a service. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a defect in there where it's not seeing that you made a change in basically the replicator as a service is it's controlled by a Jinaga model, so it's immutable on the front end, and then there's a backend service that's subscribing to changes to that model, and when you change something like your Google Client ID, then it updates a stateful database that the backend uses to quickly look up your Google configuration.
Let's test that out.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So it could be that backend service is not picking up the change.
No, look what I did now. Here, just put client ID.
Okay.
Put Jan in it. So I finish. Yeah. Okay. So now we go back to the other one. Switch again to the window. Take this one. So now. Oh wait, I should first clear this.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Postman yet.
Clear this. Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Yeah. So the same error, and now we should have, no, it's not this one, it's...
Yeah, and it still has the old client ID.
Yeah, Okay, so it doesn't update. What we can try, new replicator.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Um,
And now I'm just
that's
seeing
two.
Postman, not seeing the replicators.
Yeah. Now you see this one.
Mm-hmm.
S2. Save. So then I go to
The plus. Yeah.
plus authenticate with Google. Next. This one is okay. This is okay. This is okay. I'm gonna. Where was my Google there? Did I close it already? Yeah, I close it. Right. So put that one there. So I need Maui. I hope this time, yeah, without.
Okay.
That's that's good. And then copy the public secret in it. So the callback, what was that already? Was that one? And so do I need
You
to
don't.
add
Yeah, you don't need
the
to add them all at this point. Just the one that you're going to be using in Postman.
but that one is pure fictive. It's not a real one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The one that is given by Google by Jinaga. Do we have to enter it as well or not?
No, the only thing that you need to enter here is the URL that you give to Postman, and Postman's not going to actually make any connection to this. Yeah, it's just going to look for the string inside of the callback URL.
So it doesn't matter. We use this one then.
Yeah.
Now I say finish, then we wait. And it does give me the, so this time it works. Okay, so now I need this client ID. Let's go back to Postman now. Here. So this one is okay. Then wait, I had my client ID. It had to become that. And then I need my auth URL.
Yeah, and when you're ready, let's switch back to Postman. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that one is okay. Then I need to take the token URL. So that's okay. The client ID is okay. Save it. Now clear this one.
All right, let's see. Okay, redirect URL mismatch. This is making progress. So we got past the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see in Google. The authorized redirects are that localhost 3000.
Okay. Yeah. So Google, its redirect URL needs to be the one that Jinaga gives you in the wizard. Excuse me.
Okay. Um, so um, in the wizard, that's in the first step. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Jinaga. Here. At this one. And then it can be that it takes a few minutes before Google accept that. But in general, it goes quite fast.
Yeah.
So let's try. Not yet. Google says a few minutes to a few days. Was it that?
Yeah, I don't think it takes days.
He will get there.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Okay.
It's working.
Excellent.
Incredible. With a token, with everything. And we don't have, yeah, all the tokens. Delete all the tokens. Now I can go through the flow and see what passes.
Nice. Yes.
You should have made the replicator open source. Then I could have fixed that problem
Yeah.
already for you.
Well, there's a few reasons not to. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that I would have fixed that problem. Yeah, it was not only the space, the client ID. It was a combination of many things together.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, that's working. That's a good thing. Let me see. So the 17 questions. Yeah, so the first one was the Postman error. The client ID must match the tenant name. So that's solved. Why does the replicator needs to know the callback URIs? Because actually
Mm-hmm.
the client, so Maui app knows them.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go back to the other window, was it this one? No, it's not this one. Yeah, it's this one, I think. No, it's not this one. Oh, it's this one, yeah. So if we go here, this callback URIs. So here we give them to Jinaga Replicator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is each of the different locations you intend to deploy your application. It's this is how the Jinaga Replicator is going to call back to your application. So it's going to provide a redirect to these callback URLs. The other callback URLs are the ones that Google is going to be using in order to get back to the Jinaga Replicator.
Yeah.
And I think we can see that in the Excalibur draw if you want to flip to that tab real quick.
Wait, was that one still?
Yeah, you have it open in this browser. It's just the other tab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the callback URL that you were just looking at was the one that's in 3C. So 3C is a redirect to that callback URL, and so 3D is that call.
3C. Yeah.
Yeah. And then.
But that information. Oh no, it's not
Nope.
provided in 1B?
I was I was incorrect. Yeah. So it is provided in 1B. So it's one of the query string parameters. Um,
Yeah.
and so Jinaga Replicator is going to store that, and it's going to validate that it's one of those that's that's configured. And then the arrow that's missing here, after 3F, there would be a response coming back from 3D. So 3G would be the response from 3D, and that's the one that redirects to.
Wait, the 3F, and then there is no 3G somewhere? No.
Yeah, so 3G should be the response from the replicator back to Maui app.
After it gets the authentication token.
Yes.
Because that authentication token it's not passed on to the app.
Right. Yep. So the
Wait, let me first draw that line.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be this one. Let's move up that one a little bit, and then make a copy of that, and so that's gonna be 3G. So okay.
Yeah. So this is another one of those cases where we're using the standard OAuth words, but there are two OAuth handshakes happening at the same time. So the auth token and refresh token that you see in 3F, those are the tokens that Google generated.
Yeah.
But those are not the ones that the Maui app needs. The Maui app needs to authenticate with the replicator. So 3G delivers back to the Maui app a different auth token and refresh token.
Okay, so the Jinaga Replicator is really also an authorization server.
Yes.
On its own.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So actually, this one is refresh token 1. So 3G here. This is another one.
Yes. So, so the way that it delivers that, getting back to this redirect URL thing, is that it responds to 3D with a redirect. And so that redirect has the redirect URL, and that's your localhost 3000 or your blog Maui : / and then it has query string parameters. And those query string parameters, I'm about to say this, but it's probably wrong. Those query string parameters include the auth token and refresh token. That actually is wrong because there's another call from the Maui app to Jinaga Replicator to retrieve the token, and that's the whole Pixie handshake. Wait a minute, are we? No, this is the call to retrieve the token. Yeah, is it? Let's see. So 1B, we made a call to auth/Google. Yeah. And then we get back a redirect that goes to account.google.com. And so we go to Google in 3C. We finish our login, and then the response from the 1D, I'm sorry, was account.google.com. Then we finish our login. The response that comes back in 3C is the redirect that takes the browser back to Jinaga Replicator. So 3D is the Google callback URL, the one that the replicator wizard gives to you to give to Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that that callback that gives you the authentication code, but at that point you don't yet have the token. So yeah, 3G is actually not giving you back auth token 2 and refresh token 2. It's giving you back authentication code.
But the authentication code comes back in 3C, no?
Yeah,
From Google.
from Google. Yeah, so two handshakes happening at the same time. So yeah, 3C includes the authentication code from Google.
Yeah. Wait, I'm gonna add it here. Yeah, but between the Maui app and the Jinaga Replicator, is there also an authentication code?
Yes, that's the one that comes back in 3G.
So not a token, a code here.
Right. That one is the authentication code. Because now we need 4. Yeah, step 4 is to retrieve the token.
So this one not. So, and then, well, which is still step 3 because the user is not doing anything in between.
Okay, right, okay.
Or at least that was my thinking of.
Uh-huh.
So then, there is another arrow here. Just let's put it like this. So this one then is what is happening here?
Yeah, so in this one, 3H, this is where we call the auth/token endpoint, and we pass that authentication code. Actually, they call it an authorization code.
Wait, so that's the auth endpoint. So that's
auth/token.
B.
Yeah, D.
No, D.
Yes.
But 3D also went to D already, no?
That would have been auth/Google/callback.
/Google. That's still another one then.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Let's call. Well, let's call this one then F. So F is auth/Google/callback.
Yes.
Like this. And then here we have a B then.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes to B. And then he responds with.
Then he responds with the auth token 2 and refresh token 2. Yes.
Not in that sense. Goes in the opposite direction. So this one is 3I then, and that has an auth token Jinaga,
Mm-hmm.
and a refresh token Jinaga. And
Yep. Simple.
if I could just this one, put it a little bit lower. No, text. Yeah, never mind. I will do that. Let's save it first. I think I have to
Yeah.
spend another week thinking about that.
Yeah, and now that you've got a working Postman collection, you should be able to step through the
Mm,
console and see each of these different steps, at least from the perspective of Maui app and from what the user can see. You would not be able to see 3E and 3F. Those are not happening inside of your browser.
yeah, because they go between the replicator and Google.
Yep.
Um, yeah, the other questions. A lot of these endpoint, no waiting. Yeah, the waiting indicator token is valid. Why do we need a client? Yeah, I think a lot of the other questions are related to the fact that it are two completely independent handshakes.
Yeah.
Because I see meanwhile it's 4 o'clock here. It took us an hour to go through this.
Yeah. Yeah. This is complicated stuff.
Yeah, one important thing that I was still wondering:
Mm-hmm.
how can I use this? Because now it's in fact it's authentication. Yeah,
Yes.
because the authorization is done by the authorization rules,
Mm-hmm.
distribution rules in Jinaga server.
Yes.
But so how can I use this stuff to protect access to my mobile application? Because I have
Mm-hmm.
my SQL database in my mobile application.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm offline, I can even not log in.
Yes.
Um,
Um, so the pattern that I'm uh, trying to demonstrate in Blog Maui is that you use the mobile platform's secrets manager in order to store the token and the public key. Even though the public key is not a secret, it still gets stored there so that somebody can't just go in and change it and pretend to be somebody else. Um, and so when you're offline, then the local application is going to use those secrets, in particular the public key, to know who you are and to serve your data back to you and to collect new facts. Um, but you are correct in pointing out that that is not um, protected in any way. The When you're offline, the application doesn't have any way to know that it truly is you. Um,
mm,
so um, so yeah, even though those are in the secret store and somebody shouldn't be able um, to get access to them without you know, authenticating to the phone that it's really you by using your your code to unlock the phone. Um,
mm,
but still, once they can get access to those secrets, then they are not. Uh, there's no way for them to convince Jinaga. There's no way for them to convince Google that it's really you. Um, and so yeah, all the information is available there in that database at that point, and somebody could actually just go in and query that data directly because it's just in SQLite, or
mm,
they could, if they knew the schema, they could just go and modify the data. But what does protect you then is when you go back online, it's going to, the client application is going to need to uh, to get a new token in order to actually send the queued facts back up to the replicator. And so if they can't accomplish that, then maybe they've changed your data on your phone, but they haven't done anything in the replicator.
They cannot get it back to the replicator, and they cannot get new facts.
Right.
Okay. Because with DWS, there also it's just the first time that you log in to the server. And for the rest, I'm just using the login from the phone as a protection. But in an older system where I was using Microsoft SQL Server replication, there it was encrypting the local database. And so you need to log in locally to decrypt that database. And the same password was used for the synchronization.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I do intend to support encryption at rest. It's not supported right now, but yeah, that's in fact in the book, in the security chapter, I talk about key pairs, principal facts. Go through a few of the patterns of authentication, but then I do talk about asymmetric encryption, encrypting the historical facts using symmetric encryption, how you can store an encrypted symmetric key in the model, encrypting it asymmetrically so that only the people who are authorized can read it. So that's a set of tools in addition to authorization and distribution rules.
Okay.
So I have not implemented those mechanisms yet, but they are definitely on the roadmap.
Okay, let's first try to understand this. I will adapt the drawing, and perhaps then we can incorporate that drawing also in the documentation.
Yes, I think so.
Because I think other people will have the same problem, I guess. Next week, I will probably on Thursday be traveling with a car to Belgium.
Okay.
And the week after, I will be traveling back on Thursday. I think it's not confirmed 100%, but it looks like that.
Okay.
So that would mean that I will be back on the 4th of January.
All right. Yeah, and those being the Thursdays before Christmas and New Year's. I'll probably maybe pre-record something, and and get those out rather than trying to do something live. I don't know.
Okay. So it's 2 weeks that I will not be there normally driving.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
I hope it's going to be a fun trip.
Yeah, driving is not fun, but being there is nice, so not a problem. Anyway, I'm gonna read chapter 4 and chapter 5, so I should have sent you that feedback before I get back online then.
Very good, very good. Yes, chapter 5 is the heavy one now. It used to be chapter 4, but I've swapped it. So.
Yeah, but 4 is a little bit new things, or is rearranged. I saw 5. I didn't look yet. It's location independence, but a lot of new things, or
not too much new there. No. Yeah, that's it. In the first edition, Location Independence is chapter 4. I believe that chapter 5, the second edition, is pretty much chapter 4 of the first edition without without too many significant changes. The analysis chapter, which used to be chapter 5 and now is chapter 4, there I updated it to use the new factual language. And then once you get to chapter 6, that one's brand new.
But chapter 6, I don't have it yet, so let me
okay.
first finish. Let me first finish 4 and 5, and the next year you can send me chapter 6.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Michael, have a nice year end, and
You
we
as well.
see each other beginning of next year then.
Indeed. Yep. See you next year.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.